certification. PHRi Certification Center commits to a higher standard. PHRi Certification Center commits to a higher standard.
All right, good evening to all of you. My name is Samuel Kabana Anson, and thank you for making time to join us. Please confirm if you can hear me. We are live on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Kindly confirm if you can hear me by giving me a hi in the comment section. All right, Elizabeth, I'm excited to be part of today's session. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Patient, I'm here waiting. Thank you. We are here also for you. All right, let's see who again. Alex Mensah. My name is Alex. Alex, nice meeting you. Priscilla Akins. Hi, nice meeting you. Belinda, Becky, Justice AJ Sam. Thank you so much for making time to join us today. On behalf of the HR Certification Center, I want to use this opportunity to wish you aPHRi. This happened to be our first session for the year. I want to thank you for making time to join today's session. And as I said, we are live on LinkedIn. All right, Salas Apia, thank you. It's good to be here, right, man? Thank you so much for joining. My name is Titilayo. Titilayo, I'm sure you are from Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining. As always, Ghana, we have the best jollof. Titilayo, please, we don't have to fight on that. Thank you so much for joining. aPHRi to you all, and we are grateful for your time. So today we are going to talk about the path to professional HR certification. And it's an honor to have with me seasoned speakers, seasoned HR practitioners from all right. Ato Kwamena, Ato, nice meeting you. Thank you so much. So I have with me Madam Josephine Amankwa and Peter Holder, the Executive Director for the HR Certification Center, and Mr. Courage Nunya Jumeku, also from who is a facilitator from the Institute. We want to thank you all for making time to join us. So let me welcome Madam P. Tehoda. Madam, can you hear me? And good evening.
Hi, Kwabena. Good evening. And let me use this opportunity to say good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are joining from. We are glad to have you on this call. It's our honor to be with you for the next couple of minutes. I'm sure within an hour we'll be done, and we will be sharing insight on why you should get certified, or we will be sharing insight into the practice of HR. The HR profession, as we have it today, has traveled or has come, have come a long way, and we will be sharing those insights with you today. So I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much, the Executive Director for HR Certification Center, Madam Pearl P. Tehoda. Let me also welcome one of our facilitators, Mr. Courage Nuna Zumeku. Hi, Courage. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening, Kwabena. How
Hi,
are
good
you?
evening. I'm doing so well by the grace of God, and you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Good. Courage, I want to find out, how do you say aPHRi in your local language?
FYA now.
Okay, it's okay. I can't say that. Thank you so much. That's a way of wishing you aPHRi. Thank you for joining us. Let me welcome Madam Josephine Amankwa. Hi, Madam Josephine. Good.
Hello, Kwabena.
Hi,
Good
Madam Josephine.
evening and Happy New Year.
Same to you. Pastor, how do we say Happy New Year in your local language?
aPHRi.
Okay. Please let me go to the Executive Director, Madam Pearl Peter. How do we say aPHRi in your local language?
It's Epoye now. I speak same language as Courage.
Okay, all right. Nice to meet you. So on that note, we jump straight to our conversation. I will start with the Executive Director for the center to tell us more about HR Certification Center and the importance of enrolling in a certification center. Madam, could you please tell us more about the HR Certification Center?
Right, Kwabena, thank you. And once again, if you're just joining, welcome to our open forum on the pathway to professional HR certification, organized or hosted by the HR Certification Center. So simply, the HR Certification Center, let me say, has been in existence for the past 10 years. And if you're an avid follower of the center, I'm sure you would have seen some events celebrating our 10th anniversary. And so for the past 10 years, all we've been doing is advocating for the HR practice and also doing research into why HR should be a strategic business partner or why HR practitioners must position themselves to become business leaders. So for the past 10 years, that is what we have been doing. Core among the things we've been doing is the HR certification programs. And we have done that for the past 10 years. And I think we have our 41st cohort currently in sessions. Every year we do an intake of 4 times per year. So 4 intakes per year. So for 10 years, it's obvious that we have done some 40 sessions and counting. And so this is how far we have traveled. What lies ahead of us as a center is the fact that we envision to become the HR professional center of choice. And so all we've been doing is to bring you knowledge on the practice of HR, to position you with skills, to arm you with the necessary tools to be able to practice. And so, if you've been following us for the past 10 years, we have been singing how far this profession have traveled. I mean, 10 years ago, we wouldn't talk about HR as we are saying now. I'm sure you'll be recounting stories of HR practitioners being more like personnel managers, more like people who would put your salaries together, divided by 12 and pay to you. We will be talking about people who are just concerned about welfare of people in the organization. But over the years, of course, there is the abundance of knowledge, the abundance of information at our disposal, and also the fact that we run the international HR certification. We have put together an enviable content that we use in training HR professionals to where we are today. Today, we can confidently say that the HR practitioner, of course, if you've been through our certification programs, we will confidently say that you have been positioned or you have been armed to rally behind your business so you are better placed to position people behind the business strategy. Of course, every business is going somewhere, and it takes people, it takes the human resource to be able to deliver value for stakeholders or for shareholders. And so it is the duty of the HR manager or the HR practitioner to position people properly and be able to manage and lead them so together we can deliver value for the business that we support. So this is who we are as a center for the past 10 years, and the next 10 years, of course, we'll see marvelous work where we can sing a better song for the HR practice in Ghana and the African sub-region.
Thank you so much, Phil. Phil, let me do a follow-up question. You've been doing this business for the past 10 years. Could you please run me through some of the certifications programs that you have in your institute?
If you can come up with a question again.
So you've been doing this business for the past 10 years. Can you kindly take me through some of the certification programs you have in your institute?
Right. So for the HR Certification Center, we have been approved by the certification body, which is the Human Resource Certification Institute, headquartered in Virginia, USA. They are our certification partners for the past 10 years. And so currently we have been mandated to run 3 certifications. Of course, there are 8 certifications in all from the certification body, but we have chosen to run just 3 out of the 8. And so we have the Associate Professional in Human Resources International. I'm sure you would have seen the credentials, which is aPHRi. And I'm stressing or I'm emphasizing on the I because there are 2 versions of that certification. We have the American version, which is the aPHR without the I. That is the American version. And so we are running the international version with the I at the end of it. We are also mandated to run the Professional in Human Resources, which is the PHRi, and also the Senior Professional in Human Resources International. Let me just give a little background to these 3 certifications that we run. So here at the center, we say that no matter the level you are practicing in, there is a certification for you. And so if you are just at the entry level of your HR career, or you are about to transition into the HR profession, or you just love HR, you just love people management and people leadership, and for that matter, you do not have any core experience in HR, you qualify to enroll for the Associate Professional in Human Resources International. So those without an HR background, those who are just entering into the HR profession, or those who are just finishing first degree with no work experience, you qualify to enroll for the Associate Professional in Human Resources. Then the Professional in Human Resources, which is the mid-level. So for those who have 2 years up to 4 years of work experience and have a first degree, it doesn't matter if your first degree is in HR or not. Once you have a first degree and some 2 years work experience, you qualify to enroll for the mid-level HR certification, which is the Professional in Human Resources. Then the last one is the Senior Professional. And of course, for this one, you must be practicing at the, I won't say premium, but at a high level of your HR career, such that you must have some 4 years of HR experience and you should have a first degree to qualify to enroll. So for the senior professional level, we are looking at HR at the strategic level, where we talk about policy issues, where we talk about understanding the business holistically, and where we talk about policy development for the business. So these are the 3 certifications we run currently, Kwabena.
So let me do a follow-up. Thank you so much. You touch on aPHRi being for entry level, then PHRi being for mid-level, and SPHRi being for strategic level HR practitioners. That is, you have to have 4 years. I will be glad if you could take me through the module for aPHRi and PHRi and then SPHRi to know the difference. Could you take me through the modules?
Right, Kwabena. So for the associate professional, which is at the entry level, candidates who come through the center will go through modules such as HR operations, that being module 1. Of course, module 2 would look at recruitment and selection. Module 3 will look at compensation and benefit. Then module 4 will talk about human resource development and retention. Module 5 will look at employee relations, health, and safety. And of course, at the HR Certification Center, we would always say that you can never be an HR practitioner without understanding the laws that govern employment. And so no matter the level you are practicing, or no matter the level of certification you are doing, you would go through the labor laws of Ghana and the ILO regulation. And so for our international candidate, you are not required to go through the labor law, but definitely you will go through the employment laws of the country you are practicing in. And so if you are in, I heard you mention somebody from Nigeria. So if you're practicing in Nigeria, you have to have knowledge of the employment laws of Nigeria. So these are the modules for the associate professional in human resources. Quickly, the modules for the professional in human resources, which is the mid-level, module number 1 is business management. Then module 2 will look at workforce planning and talent acquisition. Module 3, employee development and engagement. Then module 4 will look at total rewards. Module 5, employee relations and risk management. And then module 6 is the labor laws of Ghana and the ILO regulation. Now, the senior professional, that is at the strategic level, module 1 will look at leadership and strategy. And of course, it's very evident that because you're practicing HR at a higher level, you must understand issues of leadership and strategy. And those will look at understanding the bigger picture of the business environment, so you are better placed to take your HR decisions. Then module 2 will look at workforce planning and talent acquisition. Module 3 will look at employee development. Module 4, total rewards. Module 5, employee relations and risk management. Then module 6 will look at the labor laws of Ghana. So these are the modules that you would be going through, and these are required modules from the certification body. Like I mentioned, if you are not practicing in Ghana, you don't need to go through module 6, but you would be doing the module 6 from your country, and we help or we assist you in getting that done. We've done that for all of our international candidates, right?
All right, thank you so much, Pearl. Feel free to drop your questions in the comment sections and we will address you. So far, I've seen 2 questions there. But before that, we have Madam Josephine Amankwa Frimpong, who is a past student of the center. Madam Josephine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Kwabena.
Good. Welcome. So, Madam Josephine is the HR manager for the Mine Workers Association, that is the union here in Ghana. And I would love to engage her to share her experience with us because, Madam Josephine, you are a past student. So I'll put some few questions across so that you help us share the experience at the center so far. So my first question will be, can you take me through how a normal day at the center look like? How does a typical training session look like for a student?
Okay, Kwabena, thank you so very much for the question. Before I answer or go to the question, I would like to take the opportunity to thank the organizers, especially the center, for putting me through this call to share my experience. I'm so grateful. Now, a typical day, I would like to start with what happened, my story, the reason why I landed in HR center, at the HR center. I have been working with the organization for quite some time, a decade plus. And at a point in time, I felt so burnt out and I felt like I was boxed in and I needed some fresh idea. So I was scouting. One day on my way to the office, I saw a billboard. So I took the number and then I called. I was introduced to do the inquiry, and then I had a discussion with a lady who told me that, so I took the opportunity, and then I did my registration, and then I was told that we were the 40th cohort, and the lecture starts on the 7th of September 2024. So on the 7th of September, I got myself ready because it was exactly 9 o'clock. I didn't want to be late. And let me say, it was my first day at school. So I had to quickly make my way to the center. So I did. And then when I got to the center, I did my registration. I was welcomely received. And I was ushered into the room. Right, in my amazement, I saw that and there was beverages for the student. I said, wow. And entering into the center where the lectures or teaching was to take place, I realized that the whole place was full. It was full. The sitting arrangement, the environment, the setting. I saw a saucer with a flavor of toffees, and then a customized pen, a book, a notebook, and then my water. So I took my seat, and then it started. So, there was an orientation. So we were oriented into. It was there that I realized that orientation and onboarding is part of the training process. So we went through the orientation, and after Pearl took us through the orientation, Dr. Basi also got in. But one amazing thing was that they said 9 o'clock, and so 9 o'clock exactly, the orientation started. So I realized that the center was conscious of their time. Ghanaians and our traditional way of being late. But the center started exactly 7 o'clock, and the whole place was coordinated. So the personnel administrators were at the back coordinating, and then after the orientation, Dr. Basi came in, took us through leadership and strategy. That is where the whole I was revolutionized by the kind of ideas that came on board. So that was the first day. He took us through the reason why, as HR person, you need to think beyond the organization, because you have to align the objectives of the organization to align it to the employees of expectation, in order that you achieve the aim of the organization or the company. So that through it all, new ideas came up with a lot of studies. We learned from some theories, some leadership, ideas in the form of leaders, Dr. Batty took us through this training. In fact, the leadership ideas was quite impactful and very interesting. And then before 12 o'clock, he was signaled. And then we had to break for lunch. And one funny thing was that when I was coming, I thought that because it's a place, I had to bring my food along. Unfortunately, the institution, because the institution valued and prioritized its members, had already made arrangements for lunch and snacks. So we went down, the break was 45 minutes, and I tell you, I had to send my food home. After 45 minutes, we came back to the lecture room to continue with the learning of some of the theories of leadership, like everything rise and fall on the leader, and then the principles of natural justice. So we learned about those principles. And then he took us through how a leader must position, or an HR person must position herself or himself to support the organization to succeed, because everything rise and fall on the leader, and the organization, you had to. So that was the first thing that happened, and then we go off the following week. This one was in person. So the institution has the in person and then the online. That is where I got to know the asynchronous and then the synchronous. That is the term. And then sorry.
I get that. I just want to ask a follow-up question before you bring courage in. So you took us through day 1, day 2, and everything. I want to find out, so far, how did the institution support you in your studies? If you could take us through that, I'll be really grateful before I bring in courage.
The question again.
How did the center support you in your studies?
Well, during the orientation, the center, after every lecture, you had to do, you need to be assessed. And so you go through a self-assessment test to ensure that to evaluate yourself on every subject that has been taught. And so the center provides you with manuals, and then they advise you to form study groups. They also provide you with training manuals, and then prep you as well as prepare you for mocks. So you also take mocks as well. So that is how the center helps you as a student.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
I just want to add that throughout the learning process, the institution helped us to understand what training and development is all about. So for me, as an HR practitioner, I can develop a training needs by looking at what is going wrong in terms of where we are and the develop a training needs for my organization. And then also total rewards, we went through total rewards. So employee engagement, we learned about what we call the compensable factors. So the compensable factors is a way of knowing how to price and answer, put an employee in a particular job without shortchanging or being fair to the employee. So the compensable factors is one of the things that I didn't know of. I also learned about employee engagement. Employee engagement is also one aspect that the center put us through. So that employee engagement is one of the factors that helps the organization to move on when you understand the people, because every organization has the success and then the failure of an organization depends on its employee. And then talent acquisition is also another thing. Talent management is also another thing that we learned. And also workforce planning is also another thing that we learned in the institution. It shows that hiring is one huge mistake, one huge thing for every organization, because when you hire a wrong employee, it affects the organization's success. So it is a big deal. So the institution helped us to know how to hiring and then training, and then also ensure that the returns on the investment is good for the organization. And then the labor laws, we also learned about the labor laws. And then the risk management is something that we went through. In fact, I must say that the institution, it took us through a holistic to prepare every HR person every student within the center. And therefore, there are certain terms that I learned, like the Nemo Jude Enkasaswa, the Aldi Artaram pattern, the law of sorry, hello?
Yes, can you hear me? I want to bring Courage in here. He's your facilitator. I want to bring him in to help us, because you've done a great job. Courage, let me ask you a question. How does the center ensure that the courses that we teach here, the content, to be precise, stays updated with current global HR practices?
All right, thank you very much, Kwabena. And I can see how excited Josephine is in recounting some of the interesting things that she learned. But I think here at the center, we really place a lot of emphasis on the relevance of the content that we deliver. And so, as part of the many things that we are guided by, indeed, there is a very popular quotation that is attributed to Jack Welch. And he actually said that when the rate of change on the outside exceeds the rate of change on the inside, then the end is in sight. So indeed, we are positioning ourselves to be able to deliver value such that this value is relevant to the workplace, to our students, and generally to the employers. So what we do here to ensure that our content reflects the latest global practices, we monitor industry trends. We engage with thought leaders. We analyze evolving needs of the HR professional, not only in Ghana, but worldwide. Indeed, the center goes the extra mile to ensure that they are putting their facilitators in conferences and in spaces where they can get to understand what the latest trends and issues in HR are. Our faculty collaborates with HR experts, global organizations, and other certification bodies. Indeed, we do a lot of integration of case studies, emerging technologies like HR analytics, what the latest regulatory updates are, what business leaders are calling for, and what we deliver. We can say boldly that it creates an environment where the HR is able to perform excellently locally and internationally. Thank you.
Correct. I know HR is full of complex terminologies, concepts, and everything. How do you develop or bring out strategies to make complex HR terms, complex HR strategies easy for students to understand, especially now that you have 3 courses for 3 certifications, aPHRi, PHRi, SPHRi? How do you make sure that difficult or complex concepts are broken down into pieces for students to understand?
Indeed, the hallmark of facilitation or a great facilitation is to ensure that complex theories are broken down using real-world scenarios and sometimes interactive discussions. So let me just walk you through something very simple.
Okay.
So there is a concept that all of us may know, which we call turnover. So you take a concept like turnover, and not to get too technical, you may understand that turnover is an important metric when you want to understand your workforce dynamics. So for example, we use principles that tend to analyze, evaluate, and then to synthesize. So in analyzing, what we do is that we try to break down the metric into components that are easy for you to understand based on what your practical situation may be. So for example, if we talk of turnover, you can talk of the fact that turnover may have certain elements like voluntary turnover and involuntary turnover. Here, we will teach you to understand the patterns as to which departments or roles have the highest turnover. We help you to examine contributing factors like workload, management styles, or even issues of compensation. And indeed, like Josephine was trying to put across, or as she was trying to put across, when we talk of compensation, the modern HR now talks of what we call total rewards, where we make the point that it's not only the financial, but there's also non-financial. So we are looking at your benefits, your incentives, and then your base pay. In addition to that, we teach you to understand that there's something called the job content and the job context. So all these together will give you a robust compensation and benefit system. Indeed, we believe that a chain is as strong as its weakest link. And so when we are delivering the content, we deliver a holistic content, link it up with everyday experiences for you to appreciate exactly what we are doing. Indeed, I can say that all the facilitators have a minimum of 10 years experience in HR. And what that does is that we are not only picking up on the theories, but we are also breaking them down and helping you to synthesize what we have given you so that not only are you picking up the knowledge, you can also be able to transfer. Indeed, we also understand as HR content delivers that when you are doing training, there is a positive transfer, there is a zero transfer, and there's a negative transfer. Indeed, when the environment in which the person is going to apply the content is at variance with what they are receiving, it affects how they are able to deliver. So you can see in all of these, we put all these together and we try to have that sort of individualized consideration when we are delivering our content to ensure that you are not only receiving value theoretically, but value to help you in your business space. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Karen. Just in case you just joined us, we are discussing the path to HR professional certifications. I will ask Madam Pearl Peter, who is the executive director, few questions, then we will call it a day. But before that, I want to thank you all for making it to join. As I said, if you have any question, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, or you can reach us on 0244 122 855. You can actually send us your question right now as we speak. The administrators are online to answer your queries and everything. So let me come to you, Madam Peel. What actually sets us apart, the HR Certification Center? Could you tell us what sets us apart from other HR training institutions in Ghana?
Right, Kwabena, thank you. And let me say thank you to Courage. Courage is one of our lead facilitators at the center. And also Josephine, a past student that was scored 40. Let me say she's senior to those who are currently in session. Josephine, it's good to see you again. Right. So let's look at why we are unique, or why we are having this session to tell you about professional HR certification, or why you must consider the HR Certification Center as your medium to gaining professional certification. First of all, we want you to know that we run the international certification. What it means is you can have this certification, practice locally because it is recognized here by the regulator for HR practice, which is the CIHRM. All international certifications are recognized, and so is what we are doing. You can also have this certification and practice internationally. So you can have the certification, and when you transition into a role in other countries aside Ghana, you can still use that this certification to practice. So it is not only limited to Ghana. Of course, the fact that we run the international certification doesn't mean that we have only multinationals or private organizations studying with us. We also have the local organizations studying with us. And in every session, you are sure to have both the private and the public firms studying with us. As a center, we can also boast of expert trainers, which we call the College of Facilitators. And Courage mentioned that the least qualification or the least work experience is about 10 years. We have people with 20 years of HR experience, and they bring that to bear in whatever they are teaching you. So they take the international content, and then they make it very relevant to the practice of HR in Ghana. All right. So they bring the real work practice to the classroom. And of course, we ensure that our training or our teaching is not just looking at theory, not just looking at concept, but we are also looking at consultation. So whatever challenges you have from your organization, you can bring to the classroom, and the facilitators can provide solutions. Otherwise, your colleague learners can also provide solutions. So we make it more consultative. Of course, it's adult learning, and so the facilitators don't just assume that they know it all, but they open up the discussion. We also use case studies to enrich our teaching and learning at the center. Now, another reason you should consider choosing the HR Certification Center for your certification is the fact that we have customized learning experiences. All right. So we look at the people that are coming through the center. We understand that you are workers, or we understand that you have very busy schedules. And so we customize our learning to suit your needs. And so for those who want to study from the comfort of their homes every weekend, they can join our virtual sessions on Sundays. And then for those who want the live classroom learning, I know sometimes our students will come to us and say, look, you guys can provide the best of online learning. I still want to come to the four corners of your classroom to study. And so we have all of you in mind, and we provide that customization to suit you. All right. We also offer comprehensive support, and we support our participants from when you are applying for the program to when you are studying with us to when you finish the studies. Of course, we don't just take your money, teach you for 6 months, and leave you to go and practice or to go and write your exam, but we provide that support every step of the way until you write your certification exam and you pass. And sometimes even beyond the passing, our phones are always available. You can call us on any issue at all. If we do not have the answers, we will direct you to the appropriate person to help you with the answers. And of course, Kwabena, this one, I'm sure our listener will say that we are boasting, but it's good to state it. The HR Certification Center has a proven success rate. And of course, we always make it public for all our followers to know. Year on year, our success rate has been 80 and above. And every step of the way, we are working on it so that we can give our learners value for money. And every year, we rate ourselves based on the number of candidates we present for examination, and then we roll out the success rate. And let me also mention this, let me say last but one. But of course, we focus on candidate experience, which is very critical for us. Now, I have also been a student elsewhere where it is all about the money we take and then we leave the students to be on their own. I'm sure that Josephine will recount the fact that the candidate experience is key for us. We are not only looking for money, but we are looking to tell a better success story for the HR practice in Ghana. And that has been our core mandate, that we want to transform the HR practice to what we all desire it to be. We don't want the negative stories. Out of every 10 HR or every 10 employees you will assemble, we want a story where the HR practitioner is a strategic, people manager or people leader. And so the candidate experience is very key for us. But Kwabena, let me mention the fact that over the years, we have tutored over 4,500 individuals. 4,500 individuals. And these individuals have formed a community that enables our studying candidates to network. And so one of the platforms we are using to do the professional networking is the Association of Certified HRs. That has both the certified professionals and the non-certified professionals. And on that platform, a lot of learning has been happening. And so when you transition beyond the 6 months of learning, you get an opportunity to become part of that community where the learning continues even after the 6 months. Now, the last thing I will say is that the HR Certification Center, and for that matter, why you must choose us as a learning partner, is the fact that we have recently received recognition from a credible organization that thought that you have done so well, or the center has done so well in championing HR issues, in championing training issues, and in championing people development issues. And so we were awarded Brand of the Year for HR training services. And so if you're looking to have your professional HR certification, I propose to you the HR Certification Center for these reasons: to come do your professional certification so that together we can tell a better story for the HR practice in Ghana.
Don't go. Before I leave you, could you tell me when is the next cohort and how can someone who is on this call be part of the next cohort?
Right, Kwabena, rightly so. Our next session, which is the 42nd cohort of the professional HR certification, takes off on the 8th of March, 8th of March of the year 2025. And so enrollment is ongoing. Admissions have been open since December. And so enrollment is ongoing. And so I'm sure that our listeners will be asking, when is the deadline for registration? As a center, we do not roll out a deadline. We have a cutoff point for every cohort, and the cutoff point is 200. Once we reach the cutoff point, we close admission. So if the cutoff point happens ending of February, it means that we will cut off admissions ending of February. But our lines are always open, and it's so easy to reach out to the HR Certification Center. Our hotline dedicated to admissions and enquiries is 0244 122 855. 0244 122 855. Otherwise, when you send us a message directly on our social media handles, there is always an admission officer to respond to you quickly, and so you can have your enquiries done. The number I mentioned, 0244 122 855, is both a call line and a WhatsApp line. Whichever medium you choose, the admissions officer will reach out to you and give you the necessary information. And so once again, our 42nd cohort is taking off on the 8th of March.
All right, thank you so much, Pearl. We have 7 minutes. I will ask Courage one question, then we'll ask Josephine one question, then we'll call it a day. But before that, if you are joining us from a different country, I know my fellow Nigerians are on board, like someone from Liberia. It is actually +233 244 122 855, and you can join the online option available. I think, Pearl, you touched on that, right? Online option.
Right. So, Kwabena, let me mention quickly that as part of our customization, we have both the physical learning options and we also have the online learning option. So our physical sessions are on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. with a break session. And then our virtual learning options, which is the online learning options, are on Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And let me say that as a center, we place premium on delivering value. So whatever we do during the physical session, we do same for the virtual session. And the good thing is that you have an opportunity to alternate. But of course, if you're studying outside Ghana, you may not have the opportunity to join the in-person session. But if you are in Ghana, you have the opportunity to alternate. So every weekend, you make a decision which of the options you want to. So you don't miss out on anything. So you can do one weekend virtual, then the other weekend physical session. But at the end of the day, all our learnings are at par till you finish the session.
We have 5 minutes to go. Courage, I need it to be now so that we can take few questions online. Do you offer any exam preparation tips or mock session to help students feel confident before taking their HR certification exam?
Absolutely, we do. And really, we understand the apprehension that students will go through as part of the preparation. I mean, over the period, I've engaged with several students, and for some, it's not even about the knowledge of the content, it's about the confidence.
Okay.
So the whole idea, and in fact, we practice what we teach with some of the concept that we do. Indeed, there's a concept in training which we call the Bloomers-Zeigarnik effect. I mean, the whole idea is to take students through a certain process. So after your classroom sessions, we have tutorial sessions, we have prep sessions, and all these sessions are to bring you to that place with loads of questions, loads of interactions to help you with the necessary confidence that you need to be able to take the exam and pass. So we have a pile of things. For the want of time, I don't even want to go through it now, but there's a robust system to make sure that not only are you equipped with the knowledge, but also with the confidence and everything that you need to go in there, take the exam, and then come out with flying colors.
Thank you so much, Courage. Madam Josephine, let me take this from you. If you were to advise someone on this call who is an HR practitioner considering of doing his or her professional certification, what advice will you share with the person?
Thank you. If I had to advise anybody, I will just inform them that they should look nowhere, but they should come to register with the HR certification to level up in these days, in this dispensation where job is changing at a rapid stage, HR certification is where you can be leveled up, you can be brought to, I mean, you can be, you will know you will be equipped and empowered because you'll be equipped and empowered because knowledge is, key. Therefore, it is only knowledge that will help you to, gain a coveted position in any organization. So I will advise them to register with the HR center. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Joffin. Before we go on to pick your questions, if you want to speak with us, it is 0244 122 855. If you are outside Ghana, you add +233 to the contact. So if you are outside Ghana, either from Nigeria, it will be +233 244 122 855. There are some few questions here. We have 2 minutes. So I will address it straight, then we go. Phil, this one says, I have MBA in HRM. What level can I start? Phil, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, my mic was muted.
Great.
So with an MBA or with a master's degree, you must have some years of work experience. And so for someone with an MBA, 2 years work experience in HR will qualify you to do the senior professional in human resources. But if you have a master's and you do not have 2 years of work experience, you may have to start from the mid-level. So I'll be glad if the person can speak with the admissions officer directly so we get to understand the work experience, either in HR or not. Then we can confidently advise with the right information.
All right, so this one is from Nana Auntie. Assuming you have a bachelor degree in HR and 6 years of experience, of which 2 years are in an HR role, what level do you start?
Right, a degree plus 4 years experience should be senior professional. However, the person mentioned that it's only 2 years in HR. We want to understand what the other 4 years of experience is into, then we are better placed to advise. So, may I know the name of the person?
Nana Auntie.
Nana Auntie. So kindly reach out to 0244 122 855 and the person would help you with the necessary information. But let me also mention that for the qualifications, for the entry level, which is the aPHRi, you need no degree, no work experience. Otherwise, if you have a first degree with no work experience, you will still start from the entry level. For the mid-level, which is the professional in human resources, you need a degree plus 2 years of work experience. Then for the senior professional, you need a degree plus 4 years work experience or a master's plus 2 years work experience. Just for the others on the call, if you have any difficulty, you can always reach out to us.
Okay, so this person is Sam. He wants to find out when legal training for HR managers will come up. Phil, please.
Right. That's a good one. It tells us that you have been following us, and I can see that Sam has the Professional in Human Resources International. Congratulations on that certification. Legal training runs 3 times in the year, and our next session, if I am not mistaken, should be in April. Yeah. I am certain it's in April, but kindly reach out to us. We'll share the date with you. I'm glad you've been following, and so you will get to participate in the legal training. Please do reach out to us.
Let's take this one. Can you use your SPHRi certificate to work in Europe?
To work in
Europe.
I'm not getting that.
Europe. Yes.
Oh, yes. Like I mentioned, once you have the international certification, you can practice anywhere. You can practice anywhere. The only thing you have to do, because your module 6 was in the labor laws of Ghana, you have to go through tuition or have to go through training on the employment laws of the country you are practicing in. It's very important. And it's not just because it's a requirement, but for you to be an effective HR practitioner, you must understand the laws of employment of whichever jurisdiction you are in. It helps you to position yourself, or it helps you to make policies that do not contradict what is stated in the employment law. It's very important for every practitioner to take note of this. And for those of us in Ghana or elsewhere, if you are a practitioner, make the labor law or the employment law of your country your second Bible or your second best storybook. It's very important. It helps you to take your organizations out of avoidable liability.
Okay. Let me address this question to Courage. This question is from Hilda. Is there assistance after the 6-month period before one takes the final paper?
Yes, there are loads of assistance after the 6 months. Like I said earlier, there is a tutorial session.
Okay.
There are a series of mocks that we make available. Indeed, we don't only give you the mocks, but we also review them to let you know the areas of challenge. And as far as we are concerned, there are all these hacks that students will need to be able to pass. So after the 6 months, indeed, there is another phase that takes you through all the preparations that you need to be able to certify. And we know exactly what it takes to actually bring you to that place of success. So Hilda, rest assured that we will not leave you after the 6 months. We only let go of you when you have certified. Indeed, we even have a platform for all those who have certified to still link up and interact. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Courage. Thank you so much. But because of time, if you have any question, kindly send it on WhatsApp on 0244 122 855. Pearl, there's this question here. I don't know whether it's a question or it's a contribution. If you can see, I'll be happy if you could read it out for me.
Question from who, please?
It's from Mariam. I've actually projected it. I'm sure you can see, so let me read it.
Okay.
Mariam says, we want the in-person. Oh, the lunch alone is a great incentive, and seeing your professional staff give us a real sense of belonging. Keep up the good work, HRCC. You are the best.
Okay, so Marian, let me say that you are an intruder in this session. You are not supposed to be on this call, but that's a great compliment, and we truly appreciate it. We wish, as I wish that everybody could come to the in-person, not only because of the lunch, but the networking, the physical networking opportunities. And we are glad to provide you that sumptuous meal. And so if you are in Accra, Ghana, sometimes currently there is a student that comes from Kumasi. Every morning she's in class. And there's also a gentleman that was coming from the Volta region. Good. I think Ho somewhere thereabouts. And they drive all the way to come. I know the motivations are many, but if you can, please do join the in-person session. But of course, if you cannot, our online sessions are equally highly effective. And we know the challenges of technology. And so we always ensure that we have backup so we don't go out or we don't have network challenges here and there. And so, Marian, thank you for that compliment. Please, how do I register?
Yes,
okay, so I know there are loads of questions in the chat column. Because of time, we're unable to respond to all of them. We are glad to respond to your questions, and that is why we are here. Please do reach out immediately after the session to 0244 122 855. If you're outside Ghana, it's +233 244 122 855. We would make time to respond to everybody, and you can always do your follow-up questions once it's on WhatsApp so we can keep the interaction going.
All too soon, Ebenezer, this is how far the Lord has brought us. Pearl, thank you so much for your insight. Courage, thank you so much. And Madam Courage Frimpong, we are grateful for joining us. It's been an insight.
Courage
Anytime.
Frimpong, please. Josephine Frimpong.
Josephine Frimpong. Sorry about that.
Anytime, my dear.
We are grateful to all who joined us. Just to end that we are in 2025, which happens to be the a new year, to be precise. If you are yet to plan for the whole year, or you've planned already, make sure you add professional certification to your career goal, to your educational goal. And if you are looking or considering of doing any professional courses as an HR practitioner, HR Certification Center is the go-to brand. We want to thank you all for making time to join us, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Courage, and thank you to all who joined. We are grateful for the time.
Right. Bye.
Why do 93% of the world's leading multinational companies prefer certified professionals? Because they tend to be committed to higher standards and ethics and maintain an informed intercultural competency. Whether you're seeking to build a career or to upgrade your HR professional career, you need to get trained and certified at the HR Certification Center today. Our experience in training and certifying HR professionals is unparalleled. We're trusted to offer a comprehensive portfolio of advanced professional credentials for the HR professionals worldwide, and today, more than 500,000 HR professionals worldwide in 125 plus countries proudly maintain our credentials as a mark of higher professional distinction. HR Certification Center. Call or WhatsApp today on 0244 122 855. Why do 93% of the world's leading multinational companies prefer certified professionals? Because they tend to be committed to higher standards and ethics and maintain an informed intercultural competency. Whether you're seeking to build a career or to upgrade your HR professional career, you need to get trained and certified at the HR Certification Center today. Our experience in training and certifying HR professionals is unparalleled. We're trusted to offer a comprehensive portfolio of advanced professional credentials for the HR professionals worldwide, and today, more than 500,000 HR professionals worldwide in 125 plus countries proudly maintain our credentials as a mark of higher professional distinction. HR Certification Center. Call or WhatsApp today on 0244 122 855.
HR Certification Center commits to a higher standard. HR Certification Center commits to a higher standard.